I let him touch me at a party. My boyfriend never forgave me. The music was loud, too loud. I barely heard my own thoughts over the thumping bass. A hand brushed mine, lingering longer than it should. My pulse spiked. I knew it was wrong. I knew. But I laughed. I said it was a dare, a game. He smiled, that crooked, knowing smile. And I let it happen. A text buzzed in my pocket. His name, my boyfriend, where are you? I froze. The laugh on my lips died. My chest tightened. I didn't answer. I couldn't. The crowd spun around me, drunk with their own freedom, their own sins. I was sober in comparison, yet trapped in my own reckless choice. His hand found my waist. My body reacted before my mind did. I wanted to stop. I wanted to pull away. But a small voice in my head whispered, "Just this once." A whisper that would shatter everything. I knew the moment I let him touch me that I'd crossed a line that couldn't be uncrossed, that the night wouldn't end in laughter, that my life, my love, the fragile trust I had with him would never be the same. I felt the text vibrate again. Another one. Answer me, now. I swallowed hard, forcing a smile at the stranger, pretending it was harmless, pretending it wouldn't matter. But deep down, I already knew. It would matter. Everything would matter. The next morning, I didn't sleep. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying every second, every inch, every touch. He called. I answered. "Where were you last night?" His voice was calm, but it carried a weight that crushed me. It was a party, just a dare, I whispered. A pause. Then, sharper, colder than I anticipated, "A dare? Is that what you call it?" I knew the truth was already slicing through him. I heard it in the silence, in the empty spaces between words. I didn't defend myself. Couldn't. Words would only make it worse. He didn't yell. He didn't curse. He hung up. That was worse. Days passed. Every message I sent went unanswered. Every call ignored. I saw him on social media. He hadn't moved on. He was watching, calculating, silent. The betrayal wasn't just mine. I could feel his heartbreak radiating through the screen. I felt it in my chest, in my hands, and I realized something even darker. It wasn't just the touch. It was the trust I destroyed, the trust I'd taken for granted, the trust he'd given me freely, and I had thrown it away for a fleeting thrill. The guilt twisted in me like a living thing, but beneath it, a cold, calculated part of me stirred. If he was going to hurt, if he was going to punish, I needed to understand. I needed to see the whole picture. I couldn't just beg. I couldn't just apologize. I needed to be strategic. I needed to survive the storm I'd created, and maybe, just maybe, regain some control. I began to watch, not him, not the man at the party. I watched the aftermath, his patterns, his silences, the way he avoided confrontation. I checked my phone obsessively, trying to catch his reaction in glimpses. A read receipt, a slight delay, a scene mark that said more than words ever could. I needed proof, not just of my betrayal, but of his emotions, his vulnerabilities, the cracks in the armor he'd built around his heart. I kept my distance, pretending normalcy, pretending nothing had happened. My mind raced in calculated loops. If I apologize now, it looks desperate. If I wait, it looks indifferent. If I vanish, it looks like punishment or freedom. I dug. Phone logs, text patterns, social media cues, everything, every detail. I even went back to the party, pretending I'd forgotten, pretending I was carefree. But my eyes were sharp, my senses alert. I observed the man who'd touched me, observed his interactions. How quickly he vanished when someone approached. How my own guilt flickered every time he laughed at a joke I wasn't part of. I realized then this wasn't just a story of betrayal anymore. It was a chessboard, and I had just moved the first piece. Every detail I collected, every pattern I analyzed, became ammunition, not to justify myself, never that, but to anticipate the fallout, to navigate the emotional minefield I'd created, because I couldn't risk being blindsided again, because I already knew one wrong move, one slip, and my life as I knew it would be over. I kept calm externally, I smiled, I laughed, but inside a storm raged, a storm I controlled, and slowly, oh so slowly, I began to see the threads of the story unraveling. It came in an innocuous text. I know everything. I froze. Not the anger I expected, not the rage, not the betrayal. Just a simple acknowledgement. And then, hours later, a call. I answered with a calculated calm. "You let him touch you?" he said, voice low. "I did," I admitted, not flinching, not apologizing. Silence. Then, "And you think that's the worst part?" I waited. "The worst part is that you were smiling." I swallowed. My heart still raced, but my expression remained neutral. He didn't yell. He didn't curse. He just asked questions, quietly, calculatingly. Who? How far? Why? I answered carefully, piece by piece, with the truth laid bare but controlled. No excuses, no lies, just facts. I watched him struggle, the facade of control he maintained crumbling in increments, his jaw tight, his hands trembling slightly, and then he hung up. Days later he came to see me, face stern, eyes sharp, but his anger had lost its edge. Something had changed. "I trusted you," he said. "Yes," I replied, calm, controlled, eerie almost. "I can't forgive this," he continued. "I don't expect you to," I said. The power in the room shifted. I handed him a printed report, a careful compilation of everything I'd observed, everything I'd noted, every pattern, every interaction. Not to prove innocence, not to justify, but to expose. He flipped through it, slowly, his face pale, the realization hitting him piece by piece. This is... "You knew?" "I did," I said. I had already anticipated his reaction, already anticipated the cracks in his composure, already anticipated the chaos I'd unleash with calm precision. And I watched him as he crumbled in front of me, not with fury, not with revenge, but with the silent, cold understanding that I had played my hand perfectly. I didn't revel in it, not openly, but inside, a quiet vindication settled in. I had survived the betrayal. I had survived my mistake, and I had done it on my terms. He left. The door clicked. The sound echoed like a punctuation mark on our story. I sat, quiet, still, detached. No tears, no pleading, no apologies, only clarity. I had crossed a line. I had felt guilt. I had faced the storm, and I had survived it. The thrill, the fear, the betrayal, all had passed through me, and now only control remained. I had learned what it meant to navigate a world where trust could be broken in an instant, where love could fracture with a single touch, and I had emerged, not innocent, not guiltless, but unshakable. I would not look back. I would not regret, because in the end, I knew one thing. The storm had passed, and I had gained power in its aftermath. A calm settled over me, deep, cold, permanent. I was no longer the same. I would never be the same, and that was enough.
How could you do this?